Hi, my name is Julie Rogers, and I am a realtor with Allen Tate Beverly Hanks Realtors in Waynesville, North Carolina. In the state of North Carolina, when you go under contract on a property, you will have a due diligence period. What is that, you ask? Never heard that term before. Most people coming to North Carolina haven't heard that term because not every state does it, or it's not termed the same. When I say it's an inspection period, then they perk up. They're like, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. So due diligence period is just a fancy name for an inspection period. What do you do during that time? So when you go under contract, when you're making your offer, you negotiate a length of time with the seller. It can be 21 days, it could be 30 days, 60 days, 45 days. It just depends. If you're getting a vacant piece of land that is not on city water and city sewer, then you need a longer length of time for that due diligence period because you need a survey. You're going to want to have estimates on a septic tank. You're going to have a well estimate. So it's a little more involved than just a standard purchase on a residential property. Those can take longer too. If you're buying a brand new house, you still want to have a home inspection done. There could be things that the builder did not install properly, and you need to know that before you sign on the dotted line. So when you are going through the process of having your inspections, you'll have a general home inspection, which is just a standard inspection. They'll check, they check the crawl space to make sure that it's been properly vented and it's got the plastic underneath there for moisture. They're going to check for mold. They're going to check for any, roof leaks and those types of things. So just a general overall home inspection. And then you're going to dig a little bit deeper into that. So you'll have a septic inspection if it is on a septic. The septic company does have to pump that septic tank out first before they can inspect it. So typically there's two separate charges for that. There's a pumping fee and then there's an inspection fee. You'll also want to consider having a well water inspection if it is on a well. You'll want to have it checked to make sure there's no bacteria lurking around in that water. And we see that a lot in homes that have been unoccupied for some time, older homes. It's just a good idea to have that checked out. So you'll have a septic inspection, a well inspection. You're going to want to have a termite inspection, or it's just a broad term called wood destroying insect report. So they're going to check for termites, carpenter bees or boring bees, however you term that, any varmints, rodents that could be lurking around underneath the house. So they're going to check for all of that. You can have a chimney inspection, which we highly recommend if the house has a working fireplace, or if it's not working and you want it to work, you're going to want to have that inspected. So the chimney inspectors will come out, check everything, make sure the liner inside the chimney is functioning as it should. This is your time to have everything about that house found out that you want to find out. If you don't want to know what's happening with the house, then don't have it done, but I do not recommend that at all. You need to know everything about that house before you close on it. Once it's yours, it's yours. If there's something that needs to be fixed prior to closing, that's something we can negotiate with a seller to help with on costs. I think that wraps it up pretty much. Also, during the due diligence period, if you're getting a loan, this is the time that your lender will be having an appraisal done on the home. They're going through all of the thousands of pieces of paperwork that you're going to have to turn into them. Underwriters are looking through all of it. This is their time to make sure that the property is going to be financeable. If you're getting certain types of loans, such as an FHA, a VA, USDA, their guidelines are a little different than a standard conventional loan. So their appraiser is going to be looking for anything that could be a health hazard to their buyer. They want to make sure that you are getting a home that you can live in that is not going to be harmful to you in any way. So they're going to be looking for loose steps on the deck steps. They're going to be looking for any rolled up flooring, if it has linoleum or vinyl floor, any tears in the flooring. They're really big on chipping paint on the window sills. I just had a closing, my sellers had a closing with a buyer who was getting an FHA, and this appraiser, I'm happy that the buyers are getting a wonderful home and everything has been taken care of, but he was very picky on the window sills, and I think 3 times they had to be repainted. I mean, that involves scraping off all the paint. You cannot have any paint chips on the ground. Those have to all be cleaned up and then repainted. So we finally got that under control and taken care of and got to closing. But those are just some things that you'll want to know about before you start looking at homes. If you are getting any of those government-backed type loans, then just be aware. If you go look at a house and it does not have a heat source, it's going to have a heat source before it can be financed. And that's for any home, really. It has to have a heat source. Air conditioning, not so much. Heat is definite. And a wood-burning fireplace or a fireplace in general does not count as a heat source. So it has to be something that is wired into the home. It's permanently into a home. So a furnace, electric baseboards, heat pump, central heat, whatever. I know everybody has different terminologies for that, or a mini split. You're seeing those more and more these days, especially in older homes, because there's less work involved. They don't have to have duct work put into a ceiling or the flooring. So it's not necessarily better on cost, but it's better on getting them installed. There's less involved in a home. So that pretty much wraps up what a due diligence period is. So if you're moving to North Carolina, you're meeting with a realtor, and the realtor says, how long do you want your due diligence period for? And you're like, I've never heard of a due diligence period. Yes, you have. Now you know it's an inspection period. So there you go. Next video, we're going to talk about a due diligence fee. That's another term that people moving to North Carolina are not familiar with. So we're going to get familiar with it so that you know what we're talking about when you come to North Carolina. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.